Okay, chat. This is strictly for the basketball niggas. This is strictly for the basketball niggas. If y'all don't like the basketball, hey, I understand, man. Okay, y'all can come back when the video is over. Okay, I try to, incorporate a little bit of everything in my shit. If you ain't with the basketball, I'm sorry. I know a lot of y'all ain't fuck with that shit, but I do.
Right now, the NBA world is still waiting for the results of two of the biggest stars of the past decade.
Right, yeah. Honestly, right now, said these NBA stars' careers are ending pretty weird. Right now, this offseason is so boring. It's boring as hell right now. Because we're literally waiting on him. We're literally waiting on Dame. The Dame trade to Miami. And whatever the hell James Harden is going to do. That's literally the only thing we're waiting on. Like, shit's terrible. Shit is boring. That's why I'm glad football is back. Because I'm tired of this shit. And then baseball, I'm a Guardians fan. And we suck. So, I'm tired of watching baseball. Because we just suck. And we're all injured. So, Jesus Christ.
Requesting two pretty tough trades. James Harden seems pretty hell-bent on going to the Clippers and leaving the team that he literally wanted to be on 16 months ago. And Dame is finally trying to leave Portland after waiting way too long, and he's picking a team that has some pretty weak packages given who he is. Even with Kevin Durant last summer, we knew he loved the idea of joining Phoenix. The Suns, they were a team that always had a good to great package for KD, so that trade felt more realistic. Obviously, it took a little bit of time, but we see how that trade is going now. Miami, they don't really have the most favorable packages for a player that's coming off of probably his best year of his career. Last year was Dame's best in points, and it was his most efficient.
He has like 32, I think. Bro, me personally, if I'm Portland, I'm rebuilding. I think I've seen a trade with it was like Dame for like Tyler Hero, two other players, and like picks. But they're rebuilding though, so I thought that they would be cool with that. I mean, they got Scoot and Simons. Well, they got guards. They don't need guards right now. Yo, Solomon with the rate of 1. Appreciate you, bro. Much love. What's good? What's good, James? Bro, like I don't. They don't like. That's a terrible trade. Well, it's not a terrible trade because they're rebuilding. But, like, they have too many guards. They would have too many
Even
guards.
only playing 58 games. He had the most 40-point-plus games out of anybody. He was the only player that had multiple 60-point games. And
Portland
obviously,
sucks.
he had the historical 71 ball. All of this is great individually. But with what Portland seems to be demanding for all of what I just mentioned, and what the team he wants to play for realistically has to offer, it seems to be somewhat hurting Dame now. Today's video is sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped is back.
Don't care.
Let's start with
Don't care.
Two-part question.
I hate this. I hate this dude right here, bro. I swear to God.
And why
He's a great. James Harden's a great player, but he just annoys me because every time he loses, he wants out. Like he is in a good situation. They are literally right there. If you just stay healthy and play defense, you'll be fine. I can't stand this dude, bro.
Originally, when I was going through everything I was going through, in Houston, Philly was my first choice.
Right, you wanted to be here. Now you want out.
James Harden is obviously one of the best, most dominant players the game has ever seen. Yeah, we can talk about his shortcomings in the playoffs. We can laugh about him not being in the best shape nowadays. We can even talk about his trade request trend that he continues. But none of that can take away from some of the most dominant basketball we've ever seen for a significant stretch of the 2010s. Even if you didn't necessarily like how he did it. His last 5 years in Houston were like all-time level scoring. In his last 5 years in Houston, he averaged nearly 32. The second most behind him was Steph at around 27.
Ever since he left Houston, he ain't never been the same.
The second best.
At least a scorer. He's been more of a play. He's been more of a
was still one of the best playmakers in the entire NBA. He had the second most total assists in this span, and not only that, playoffs excluded,
even still, that's
one
amazing
of the most
stats.
reliable, if not the most reliable star on a night-to-night basis in the entire league. In his last 5 years with Houston, he played the most minutes out of anybody in that span. He was second in games played. He only missed 19 games in 5 years, and he always carried that team on his back, keeping Houston afloat. We know Houston, they never won it all, but they had the third best record in that half decade. But since he's left, his career has been extremely weird. He left Houston in a strange, very unprofessional way, reportedly asking for John Wall over Russ. They made that happen just for him to take his way out of Houston. Then once he got to Brooklyn,
I don't even know why he did that. John Wall over Russ. They was a tough team. They just went into LeBron.
And Kevin Durant, so obviously he doesn't have to score that much. He completely reshapes his game into more of that facilitator role, and he thrives. He's James Harden, played some of the most efficient, clean basketball of his entire career.
Those are great stats.
Just for him to immediately battle injuries, miss his first playoff game ever, ironically enough, when it looked like it was his best chance to really get that championship. Crazy. Then his last year in Brooklyn, he looked somewhat washed for certain parts of the season, requested his second trade in like 14 months to Philly, where he had another playoff meltdown. He saved his reputation a bit by taking a pay cut last summer, but now, this summer, after everything he and the MVP just did, literally one game away from the conference finals on their home court, he's back in the news with his third trade request in 3 years. Kyrie Irving may be one of the only players in any sport that I've actually seen get more productive in his respective sport while simultaneously seeing his value diminish. Since leaving Boston, he's averaged 27 points for 4 straight years.
But see,
as great as he was before LeBron, with LeBron, after LeBron in Boston, he never did that for his first 8 years. There's only been...
Here's the thing with Kyrie, though. I love Kyrie. I'm a Kyrie fan. But Kyrie has not had as great success since leaving Bron. I mean, not since leaving Bron, since leaving Cleveland. He hasn't had as much success. Yeah, he's been an all-star. Okay. He part of the 50, 40, 90 club. Like, them 2 years in Boston, trash. I mean, he balled out, then he got hurt. This year, his first year in Boston, he played good, got hurt. Okay? But that team without him took my Cavs to 7. But Bron happened, of course. This next year here, there was so many chemistry problems. There were literally problems. And he got embarrassed in the second round. Okay? Then he leaves Brooklyn. I don't really count this year because there was no KD and he ended up getting hurt. He still played good, whatever. And then this year, he was balling. Okay, again, hey, playoff time, he was playing great. Then he got hurt. They lost. Then here, he played good. Went to the playoffs, got swept. Okay? Last season, he was playing good. Then all of a sudden, he wants to trade. Like, Brooklyn was solid. They were solid. They were like... They were in playoff. They were in playoff ranks. Now, out of nowhere, he wants to trade. He wants out. Out of nowhere. Goes to Dallas. They have no success. They missed the playoffs.
14, 50, 40, 90 seasons. In 2021, he joined that extremely rare club. Last season, in the middle of the year, he went from Brooklyn to Dallas with arguably the most ball-dominant player in the entire sport. And he got more efficient in his production.
Way more efficient, though. He was playing good.
Last season, he was first in fourth quarter points per game. We know Kyrie to be one of the more poised clutch closers in the NBA. And despite all of that, his value or his market was still essentially a zero. The contract he just got from Dallas is generally viewed and graded as a negative, and it has nothing to do with basketball. It's because Dallas, they were pretty much bidding against themselves. Kyrie didn't really have much options.
Still gonna be the same,
together in 2019 just to play 74 total games together, and KD had a better record without him. For whatever reason, whatever team he joins, despite how great it looks on paper, it never truly reaches its potential. Last year, Dallas didn't fail because of Kyrie. Their problems were way deeper than just Kyrie. I talked about it in multiple videos. But it doesn't look good that they collapsed once they got him, especially since that's really been his trend since, let's be honest, leaving LeBron. Kyrie's still obviously one of the most magical, dynamic talents the game has ever seen. But since leaving Cleveland, his productivity and his talent isn't quite matching what you would expect his trajectory team-wise to be, especially with some of the talent and teams he's been on. Chris Paul is now on the Warriors, and it feels like one of those
Man,
moves
Chris
that
Paul's just
you'll
a passer on at
cringe
this
at
point.
in a few years. Similar to Shaq
Chris
in
Paul.
Boston or D-Wade in Chicago or even D-Wade in Cleveland, where you look at it like it never quite felt right in the beginning, and a few years past, we knew it was never...
Hold on, Lee's calling me.
Yo. I just sang an entire song.
Oh.
Just for you. And you were in here. You know what? How much of the video do you have left?
3 minutes.
I'll wait the 3 minutes. Let me know when you're back in the stream.
Okay. My bad. My bad. What was I about to say? Chris Paul, bro. Alright. I like Chris Paul. I started to have a problem with him when... Well, my problem did we start with a certain spot. It's just that Chris Paul gets hurt every single playoffs, bro. Every single one. Every single time he goes to playoffs, he ends up getting hurt, and then they lose. Like, 2018, when he was playing the Warriors, they took him to 7, and he got hurt. They lost because he was hurt. If he didn't get hurt, they would have went to the finals. They probably would have won the chip, to be real. 2019, trash. Then gets traded to Oklahoma. They wasn't even supposed to make the playoffs, but they made the playoffs. So, good job for them. They were like a 5th seed or some shit like that. I don't remember. Good job for them. Okay, goes to Phoenix. Play good in Phoenix, right? They went to the finals. Didn't show up, though. He didn't show up, and he just walked off the court. Didn't congratulate nobody. I don't really like that for real. I don't like it when someone just walks off the court and don't congratulate nobody. Like, Bron does that a few times. I don't really like that he does that, but the Browns fucking go. I don't really give a shit. But last year, then gets hurt, and then the next year, doesn't show up as good. Then last season, he got hurt again. So Chris Paul is just a pass around now. Like, I don't know why he doesn't just retire.
Chris Paul is now on his 5th team since 2017, and the way he's been passed around as a legend has been insane. Houston basically sent Chris Paul to OKC for his career to die, and in Chris Paul fashion, he got them to the playoffs and completely rose his stock. Phoenix, that was really his best chance to win a championship.
I'm saying he had his window.
He seemed to age every time the expectations.
He had
rose.
his window,
In
but he blew it
after being up 2-0 in the finals.
He blew it.
I really thought they were going to win that championship.
I wanted them to win that championship. I really wanted them to win that championship. I wanted Chris Paul to get a ring so bad. I was cheering for him.
Having his second best regular season ever and the best in like Phoenix Suns history.
Come on now.
They failed again early in embarrassing fashion. And last year, after getting KD and becoming overwhelming favorites to win it all, he aged, he got hurt, and it failed again. And now he's on Golden State. Now Chris Paul, the point guard, he's on the bench of the team and the player that haunted the majority of his prime. And if he doesn't win, look at the top 10 most winning players since 2011.
Crazy.
He's literally the only
all these players right here in this list are champions.
On this
Not
list
Chris, though.
Without a championship. 11th is James Harden. And Dame, I put him on here because of his situation now and how dominant he's
I love
really
Dame, bro.
been.
It ain't even Dame's fault.
Without anything
I don't know
to
if I
show
blame
for it.
Dame, bro.
About a month ago, Dame
I feel
finally
bad
asked
for
for
him.
a
He need
trade.
to get up out
And
of there.
currently, the process, it just feels stalled out, tedious, and weird. Portland, I don't think they should just take any old package from Miami because that'd be stupid.
Yeah.
But at the same token, I don't even know what other options they have because Miami feels like the only bidders. Right now, Dame is 33. He's one of the most dominant players of our era. He's been replaced by Portland position-wise in the middle of this stalling trade request. Not to mention, and I said this multiple times, and this is why this thing has to end, he has the 3rd worst playoff record amongst players that qualify, and the only 2 players were actually once his teammates. Not to mention, he has the most 60-point games since 2016 and the 2nd most 50-point games, and he's still yet to play with another All-Star in his prime. Not to mention, he's burning himself out every time he makes the playoffs because he plays the 3rd most minutes per game in the playoffs since 2016. This man has to leave, and right now, it don't even feel like it's moving. This literally feels like
happen,
two
bro.
of the biggest problems
It's,
of the last decade doing
I don't even
the
care. I just
fusion
want him
dance.
gone. I just want him out.
Loyalty and why it's diminished and why it doesn't really have that much value unless you're like Steph playing on a contender, and player empowerment. And when it's abused, how ugly it can actually look and get. If you guys like this video,
It's crazy how he's getting.
Yo, I could have easily put Russell Westbrook on this list. He obviously fits 5 teams in 5 years as an MVP. We know that, but Russ looked like he found a home, so I'm leaving him.
West got a home. West got a home in with the Clippers, bro. He got a home with the Clippers. But man, whatever, bro. It's just kind of stupid.